recording now. Are we ready to get started then? Cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and pass the introductions over to Amy, because I think she's a little bit more qualified to do introductions.
I'm laughing because I'm like, yeah, Connor and I just realized we had never met. So, hey everyone, my name is Amy Beckton. I serve as an associate director for the Classroom Career Hub, and I formerly worked with College of Business as a liaison. So I have wonderful connections with some faculty. And in asking them about a good resource to help us with this LinkedIn Basics presentation, they recommended Connor immediately, unanimous. And so we reached out, and Connor was gracious enough to accept, and will be presenting for us some basics on LinkedIn. So Connor, I'll turn it over to you to give more details about your background.
Sure thing. Thanks for the introduction. Grateful to be here with all of you, and hope everyone's having an awesome week, keeping nice and safe and healthy and active even amidst everything going on. We're in obviously very interesting times. I'm used to doing keynotes and talks all over the place in person, and you know, I am also on Zoom all day long with clients all over the world, from Israel to Australia, UK, California to New York. So little bit of background. By the way, those of you who jumped in, if you're brave enough, love to see on camera, love to see some faces, get some familiarity going. And I've, done quite a few of these for various different universities and groups. I've trained and coached hundreds of business to business salespeople, marketers. And yeah, I like to keep these pretty free flowing. We have a pretty tight knit group. So when I share my screen, I should be able to see the chats, should be able to monitor everything. If a question comes up, guys, just jump in, just speak up. It's fine. We don't have hundreds of people in here, which is nice. So feel free to ask me any questions. Feel free to drop any questions. Feel free to pause me at any point in time. We'll just keep it nice and open. But a little bit of my background, been an entrepreneur since the age of 7. My first business, air quotes business, was when 9/11 hit, I took rocks from my neighbors in my parents' yard and I painted them and I sold them to raise funds for the 9/11 rebuild efforts. So I took something that was nothing, turned it into a product, and that was kind of my first dive into entrepreneurship. I've been involved in a handful of nonprofits over the years, founded a few companies. While I was earning my marketing degree, I'm actually a graduate of Metro State University. Go Roadrunners. And I joined in right as we made the transition to a university. So I was paying my bills doing door-to-door sales. So I did door-to-door sales for 2.5 years while earning my degree. I was promoted in the company I was working with, ended up managing and leading and growing a sales and marketing department from right around 4 million to about 11.5 million in a year and a half. I was training, managing people 3 times my age at that time. And absolutely love it. Love helping people. If there's anything I can do for you post, getting to know me a little bit more today, and support you in any way, doesn't have to end at our meeting. I do a lot of mentoring and matchmaking for mentors. I started a local podcast 4 years ago now called Mile High Mentors. If you want to check that out, it's on all the major podcast apps. I've interviewed all the top CEOs, entrepreneurs, influencers, nonprofit leaders in the state of Colorado. And amidst COVID, I started my second podcast called B2B Mentors. So I've done hundreds of podcast interviews over the years. I've talked to, have relationships with billionaire entrepreneurs, multimillionaire, some of the biggest names out there that you've met. And that's probably a place I would start with too, is at the end of the day, some of you are students, maybe you're looking to leverage LinkedIn, which is what we'll talk about today and all the ins and outs around that. Maybe you're looking to leverage LinkedIn for career purposes, and or sales and marketing purposes. And it's such a extremely undervalued tool, even in businesses today. Like all businesses who sell a product, sell a service, or if you're looking to get a career, a new career change, a new job, there's really two pieces that are prime or are missing for most people, right? Because if you're looking for a career, you're looking for a job out of college or even while you're at university, you have to be able to do two things. Number one, reach people. You have to be able to reach enough of the right people. Number two, you have to be able to consistently stay in front of them, right? So in the world we live in, the noisy, distracted world, I've hired, trained, hundreds of team members and employees over the years. And I get busy. And I know from personal experience too, that the people you're trying to reach are busy. And so it's super vital that you're using all the tools at your disposal to be able to reach people and stay in front of them. So this is also going to be extremely valuable. Again, if you're in sales right now, if you're in marketing or, going into marketing, you can apply these principles and have a valuable information asset that you can step into any company, any organization in the world and say, hey, I can help you to be able to, number one, reach your customers that are hard to reach. Number two, stay in front of your customers. Cool. So again, guys, any questions about my background, anything like that, if you want to drop those into the chat box. And, I'd like to understand, just as we're here, just as a little practice, if you guys could put into the chat box while you're here, what is the number one thing that you want to learn about LinkedIn? What is your number one question about LinkedIn? What's maybe something you like about LinkedIn, something you dislike about LinkedIn? I know some of you in here, and I know from going to Metro as well, a lot of you are professionals already. So you're already kind of in professional careers, other people in professional careers. Maybe you're making a career change. And so that's what makes this tool so powerful. There's if you compare to Instagram, you compare to Facebook, you compare to Twitter, you compare to all of these different platforms, LinkedIn provides you a very unique ability to reach literally anybody in the world. So you can be like a degree connection away from, you name the person, you have the ability to access their influencer network. Now, here's something important. I'm just kind of painting the framework here. I'm like ADD child 100%. So I talk in very fragmented ways, but I promise you it'll all come together in the end. The main value of this, especially in the world we live in, no matter what you're going to do, your career, your sales career, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, if you're going to be an intrapreneur, which is, we'll talk about entrepreneurship, which I'm super passionate about, is your personal brand is everything nowadays. I truly believe eventually we'll be meeting, interacting, and COVID has only pushed us further, right? I mean, we're used to meeting in person, networking, going to events, going to concerts, you name it. Everything is digital now, and it's only going to get more and more digital. Eventually, we'll probably be meeting in some sort of virtual reality setting, and your personal brand, which is kind of a convoluted term. It doesn't mean you're like some influencer with millions and millions of followers. It means your reputation and your presence and, the traditional methods of filling out a resume for a job application. Those days are gone and they're dissipating even further. So your personal brand is a super valuable asset that everybody needs to learn how to develop, especially on LinkedIn. It is a professional platform, but if you're really going all in, especially if you're an entrepreneur and you have a business, you have a product or service that you sell, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all these channels are right at your disposal to be able to take advantage of. So I'm just going to read a couple of these as we get going here on what you guys dropped in. So you want to use LinkedIn to improve reach for potential job opportunities, even though I generally dislike social media. I agree with you. If I didn't have to be on social media, I would not be on social media. But it's important. It's a necessity nowadays. I do not have a LinkedIn account. I'm completely green. I would benefit from the basics. Awesome. I'll help you out with that today. How to best utilize LinkedIn to find a great job. That's great. How I can find LinkedIn to help me start out my career, especially in a field that frowns upon social media. Definitely. And I hear that a lot. And there's a lot of late adopters in there too. So a lot of you in here, go ahead and keep filling those out. And I'm going to go ahead and get my screen shared here. Amy, anything else that you think I might be forgetting to touch on just before we dive in?
No, I think that's good. It sounds like a lot of people are looking for some initial basic steps. So just to kind of get in there, how to set up their profiles, how to use some of the best connection tools so that they can start connecting with folks. And then we'll be sure at the end to open it up for any follow-up questions. So don't forget to leave time for that.
Cool. So I actually, in hearing about starting a profile, I think I might have a dummy profile available. So bear with me 1 second here, guys. I'm going to see if I can actually access one of our dummy accounts. That would basically just be kind of starting from scratch. Let's see
So
here.
Connor, while you're doing this, I will share with everyone, since they're all here, is that the Classroom to Career Hub is providing virtual services for any students. You are welcome to contact our office, and we have career advisors who are available to help actually review individual profiles, give you some tips. So if you need additional support after this presentation, you are welcome to contact our office anytime, and I will put the email address in the chat. So you're welcome to email us and reach out and set up an appointment if needed, okay?
Beautiful. In the Career Hub there at MSU, guys, is so phenomenal. Again, the great thing about being at MSU is it's built up of real practitioners. It's built up of real professionals. I've been able to do some great business networking with professors. I've just gotten to know folks in the career resources there. So just want to emphasize that a little bit. Okay, cool. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just start from the very scratch here. Let me get this. My page isn't working. So of course, it's always when you're trying to show something, right? Okay. Now, if anybody has any issues hearing, seeing, anything like that, just let me know. We're getting a little error code here. Where's my IT geniuses? Okay. So here's just a dummy account. This is the basics of LinkedIn. This is like what you'll see when you start a new profile. Once you get more advanced, and I'll even jump over to a profile here. So here's a dummy profile. Once you get more advanced, your profile really becomes a valuable branded asset. So, here's my current LinkedIn profile right now. Anybody snag my name, tag me if you want to go connect up with me. Send me a note. Let me know how you like the session today. But your profile has some key real estate here that allow you to do what it is that I mentioned, which is building your personal brand and getting yourself set up for prospecting, whether you're prospecting for a new career, you're prospecting for a job opportunity, or you're prospecting for new clients, prospecting for the business that you're working for. Let me just get rid of this here. So couple key things here to note. LinkedIn is very weird when it comes to a lot of their settings. So first thing I'm going to do here with you is show you from start to finish how to go in and get your settings set up for success, because you can create a LinkedIn profile, start filling it with resources, content, materials, all that good stuff. And then if you have settings, again, this is just a weird quirk of all social media platforms. If you have settings that are off, it can throw off everything you're trying to do. You're trying to connect with people. They can't see you, can't see your face, all that good stuff. So under the Me tab, excuse me, once you're logged into LinkedIn, there's a little tab here called Settings and Privacy. Now, they move this around quite a bit, so bear with me here, but LinkedIn actually has two setting sections within a new account. So creating a LinkedIn account from scratch is very easy. You just log, LinkedIn.com. Go to LinkedIn.com, create an account, sign in. If you already have an account, maybe even want to go through some of these steps as I'm doing this right now, feel free to do that. You can pull it up and just have, do the screens side by side. So a couple things you want to do here is first make sure that you have the right email, an email that you have access to. Make sure all your account preferences are set up the right way, your name, your location, all of this stuff. So this is actually going to bring me over to the main settings here to change your profile, your name, all that good changes here, your headline, everything like that. I'm actually going to jump back here and I'll hop back to that section in just a moment. So let me navigate back to that settings section. So again, if you're going to go get yourself set up under the Me tab, just a few features of LinkedIn for beginners. This is a search, same as if probably most of you have Instagram or have Facebook. There's various different places to search for stuff. So you can search here. This just brings you right to your home feed where, you have your news feed, all the content, people you're connected with or following, or advertisements, promoted posts, all of that will populate here in your news feed. There's actually a jobs resource feed here. We'll jump into that here as well. Your messaging section, and then notifications. Same with your mobile device, if you're on your mobile device, very similar layout as well if you're doing this on your phone. And then you'll notice here under this work tab, there's more resources. So the thing I love about LinkedIn as well is it provides learning and it provides you ability to take courses and to go through material and to educate yourself even outside of university curriculum. I'm always studying. I graduated from MSU, but I'm still consistently studying. So some more features in here if you're wondering what that work tab is. But for right now, again, we're just going to go get your settings set up here. Okay. So right here, data and privacy. These are a few things you can go through. You can find all the data here. You can find, put in your own salary data, basically providing LinkedIn data on your persona. You don't have to do this. However secretive you like to be with your information, you make that decision. Now, what I would recommend, especially you job seekers out there, is there is a job seeking preference here. So you can come in here and actually fill in whether you're open for a job, okay, what you'd like to see, upload your resume into this section here, fulfill a full resume. And without you even applying, sending applications, recruiters have access to this data. And they may be contacting you. They may email you. They may, in their search functions, find your resume in your areas of expertise. And so, again, I would recommend you fill this out. It's pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory. Let me see if there's anything else on here. Yeah, even stuff like your commute preferences, which most jobs are remote right now, especially if you're in the marketing department. Cool. All right. Let me just double check here if I got any questions in this chat. Okay, cool. So that was Amy in there. Now here's something that's really important. Right under this visibility tab here, you want to make sure that you have this stuff open, because sometimes LinkedIn, when you create a new account, automatically puts your stuff hidden. You want your personal brand to be public. You want people to be able to find you. And also, if you have these open, that gives you the ability to find other people as well. Otherwise, it gets a little bit complicated. So the thing about profile viewing, this is unique to any other social platform, is whenever I'm looking at a CEO's profile, or I'm looking at a hiring manager, I want them to know I'm there. LinkedIn has a really unique function, whereas if, again, you look at somebody, they're notified that you're looking at them. So what they're going to see is whatever real estate here, which I'll help you set up your pages, they're going to see the key real estate on your profile. You want people to have visibility to that. So I would always turn that on. Wouldn't turn it on to anonymous, any of that stuff there. LinkedIn just recently, within the last couple months, now has launched stories. So similar to Instagram stories, similar to Snapchat, LinkedIn stories are now an option as well. You can use for branding, for promotion, posting, hey, I'm looking for a new career in XYZ. Other people you're connected with, when they're on their mobile device, they'll see your stories. Same principles of other channels. Again, all these features, I would recommend setting these open and setting these to public. Now, here's another weird quirk of LinkedIn, is this public profile settings. So when you hit that, it's actually going to bring you to a new page. Again, I recommend turning all of this on, making your name, connections, region, making all this public, your headline, all of this, because again, this is going to open up your access to other people as well. Now, another thing too is everyone has a link. So if you go to Connor's profile, right? If I go to Connor Doobie, not even connected up with myself with my dummy account. How sad is that? So if you go to your profile, notice there's a URL here. If any of you are in business, marketing, again, sales, or you use your profile link as a link in your resume, which I would recommend if you're sending resumes to people, put your LinkedIn profile in there. I know when we get a new job applicant, in fact, we just went through a big round of hiring in the last couple months. We always look at their social media profiles. Believe it or not, your employers are always looking at your social media profiles. I look at their Instagram, I look at their Facebook, and I look at their LinkedIn pages. Okay, so and other CEOs tell me the same thing too. Other hiring managers, they are looking at your pages. So again, this is where I reemphasize the importance of your personal brand. So what you can do here is you can customize that URL. So it's going to give you some big jumbled URL. And if you're, again, putting this on a resume or something like that, I can even shorten this from all this junk here, and I can just shorten it to MHM, Mile High Mentors. Okay, so it's not available, MHM Colorado or something like that. There you go. So I can use this. I can use this on my business card. I can use it in my email signatures, wherever. And now that'll update. Mine currently is Social Selling Expert. So you can put your name, linkedin.com/Connor Doobie. You can put marketing extraordinaire, if it's available, sales wizard, IT genius, engineer mastermind. There's so many different things you can do. Cool. So I'll pause here just for a quick second in case there are any questions. And don't see anything too new.
Connor, this is Amy. I would say one thing, just be thoughtful of that, what you add, much like your personalized email account. You want to be still in a thoughtful professional. You want that personalized part to still have some meaning to you as a professional in the field that you're going into.
Great point. Yes, definitely.
Creativity is wonderful. However,
Yeah, creativity wins out, but be careful because you might turn someone away, or they'll look at your URL and be like, "What is this weird link here?" Yeah, that's a great point. And same with everything. Again, it's I grew up in the generation of social media, right? And so it's like I grew up with public access. Some people even watching this may not have, but anybody can access your information and it's there, guys. It is, permanently there. So be careful what you're publishing, what you're posting, what you're sharing, and how you're going about all of this. Now, let me jump over. Once you have those settings set up the right way, again, just combing through there, making sure it's set up. Jump me back here. Making sure your settings are set up to open, your public. I recommend making your email address in these materials public. I get speaking opportunities emailed to me. I get job recruiters trying to contact me all the time, and I get clients who contact me too. So I'm not afraid to share my information. I would try to just, keep it open here. And a lot of the other stuff here as well, you guys can just kind of go through one by one, but this is where you go and get yourself set up for success. There is stuff like manage, like your activity status. So kind of like Facebook, you can see, Frank is online. Same with LinkedIn. When you're connected with somebody, you can see they're online. I use that in sales as a way to say, oh, this person's online. I'm going to try to contact them here. If maybe I've tried to email them and they didn't get back to me. So that's where this activity status comes in here. And everything else is pretty darn straightforward. But that's where you access that. Now, let's do the fun part, which is your profile.
Connor, real quick, before you go on, could you show them, because I forgot exactly where it is, but in those settings, how to turn off the notifications when you are updating things on your profile for now? Because as a lot of these folks are, just creating these accounts, or maybe they have a shell and they have some contacts, and that they want to work on it and they want to do a lot of updates. If you can turn off that notification, then the few contacts that you have don't get the notification every time you make a little change to your profile. So I don't know, and I apologize. I don't remember exactly where that is, but it is handy to turn it off just for a little bit until you feel like your profile is, built up, and then turn it back on. To your point, make sure people know that you added this project, or you got a new job, or you have a new skill set. Those are the kind of notifications. But since I noticed that a lot of these folks are just starting new, they might have some contacts. And I say that because, again, I get the notification sometimes of folks who are updating their profiles, but they're just trying to work on it for now. Do you remember where that is?
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's a great point. And for some of you who may be kind of wondering what Amy's referring to, LinkedIn used to be crazy in that every little change you made to your profile, like people were notified. They got some sort of notification like Connor changed his job and Connor added the word M to his profile. And it used to be really egregious. Recently, Amy, LinkedIn has actually cleaned a lot of that junk up, thankfully. So if you do something like make a job change, or and maybe you want people to know you made a job change, or maybe you don't want people to know, or want people to know that you're seeking, like maybe you're with a current employer, and you don't want them to know that you're active on the job market. There are some settings to keep that stuff discreet. Okay. So I'll definitely touch on that. And again, oddly enough, it's actually when you're going and changing your profile that you have the ability to make those changes. So the activity status and share job changes, education changes and work, you can just turn this off or on right here, right under that manage activity status. So again, guys, for you, just under here, if you're on you're logged in, you're on your home page, I just realized was my screen not being shared there?
Yeah, I think there was a.
Okay. Well, anyways, let me take a step back here again. Sorry, guys. One of the quirks of doing these things like this. So I'll just walk you through that one more time. Account settings and privacy. Under your settings, under visibility, there's visibility of your profile, visibility of your LinkedIn activity, and then share job changes, education, work. You just turn this off or on, depending on how you want that setting. Now there is another when you're setting up your profile here that may notify people. So you can turn it off or on here, or there's another way to do it on your actual LinkedIn page. You guys can see my screen okay, right? In movement. Okay, cool. So once you've got that, then it's time to go and get your profile set up the right way. Now, here's the thing is most people, again, whether you are actually seeking a job or you're using this for business development purposes, LinkedIn historically was intended as a recruiting platform. So most people tend to set up their LinkedIn profiles kind of as if it is a digital resume. What I would recommend for your personal branding efforts is actually setting it up so it highlights the value of what you do and how you help people. And what is it you're going to be able to bring to the table? Maybe if you're a job seeker. So instead of saying student, like I would a resume here, executive producer at Active Blogs, or if I'm I wouldn't put student at Metro State University, or I wouldn't put president at XYZ company or founder of XYZ company. I would literally use this real estate here to highlight, if you're seeking for a job, seeking career in XYZ with XYZ, ZYX industry or something like that. Using this as advertising real estate for what it is you're trying to accomplish. Like, what are you trying from a bigger picture perspective accomplish by being on LinkedIn? What are you trying to accomplish by having a presence here? Okay. So think about that. Am I using this for sales? Most of you probably for career purposes. Now, if you're, not wanting to advertise to people, maybe you're with a current employer and you don't want them to know that you're out there job hunting, I would use this real estate again on like, what is it you can do? What is the value you bring to the table that employers and hiring managers and directors and others on LinkedIn can actually take, information from? So if I'm using my profile as an example, instead of telling people I'm the director of sales at Active Blogs, founder at Mile High Mentors, etc., I'm telling people the value. Are your social efforts falling on deaf ears? We enable enterprise channel growth and B2B brand positioning with the trifecta effect. Okay. So it's actually highlighting more of what I bring to the table. So when you're on your LinkedIn profile, just from top to bottom, there's actually 10 key places here to make changes to. And you want to make sure they all look good. Now, this has a dummy picture here. Just because this is a dummy account, do not use an image on your LinkedIn profile. Do not use an image that's like not your face. Everybody has a cell phone, right? Right here. Have your boyfriend, girlfriend, parents, spouse, whoever, take a picture of you against a nice white wall, professionally dressed in your, what you would wear to a job interview, perhaps, and get a nice picture of that here. If you have professional photos, great. But you can just go in here and edit and update your photo. LinkedIn makes it super easy when you're on your page. Just a simple click on what you want to change. And then you can go in here and change photo, save your photo, delete your photo, whatever you want to do. Now, other real estate on your page is what's called a banner image. This is also unique to LinkedIn. LinkedIn provides some banner images here that you can use. I'm not a big fan of the generic stuff, but if you're looking for a career, you can kind of use your real estate here to highlight your skill sets maybe. So maybe the top 3 bullets of what you'd bring into a career or what you're expert at, you can change and edit and adjust your banner here to reflect that. And some of you may even be design, experts. You can do this on your own, or I can literally go to fiverr.com for $5. I can just, literally go and search LinkedIn profile banner, tell them what I want, put a nice image in there, and then boom, you look professional and people see that you're putting the work in to get the work if you're job hunting, so to say. I'm not seeing any questions in here, so I'll just keep rocking and rolling for you guys. Now, a couple other features here right at the top of your profile. So we talked about banner, your photo. You see this is your name. That's the first thing people are going to see. This is the headline section. And then below, you have other areas like your experience, your job, and you want to make sure you have a fully completed profile. So LinkedIn prompts you to do all of this. And they've just changed this recently. So let me see where I'm missing the edit tab. Let's see here. Yeah, here we are. Missing a few details. Okay. But here, as we're still on the top of your profile, just a couple of other things to be mindful of. So headline, that's where you can put the value, what you bring to the table. Country, region. If you want to put your zip code, you can. Area. I recommend that because like people want to network with like people in the same area. I wouldn't just leave this blank. And then industry. Job seekers, let's say you're interested in the machinery industry. You're not currently in machinery, but you're seeking careers in leisure, travel, tourism, law, industrial automation, HR, you name it. I would change your industry attached with your profile to the industry you're interested in. Or if you're currently in an industry, change your industry to reflect that. And then even your contact info, your URLs in here, make sure that's accurate. You can add additional websites. So if I want to put my company website, activeblogs.com, phone number, address, everything's applicable here or changeable there. Now, here's a few other things you want to make sure you have completed on your profile. So if we're looking back at mine, okay, I have an about section, which I'd highly recommend. If you're a job seeker, you can use this about section to literally put information about what you're interested in, information of your resume, job information, accomplishments over the years, etc. There's what's called a featured section. Touch on that in just a second. And then your experience section. Even further as we go down, you can add in your education, certificates that you can earn through LinkedIn's Learning Center, which I'll show you guys how to access that as well, volunteer experience, and then skills and endorsements. Last but not least, recommendations. So this is where you can have your professors, colleagues, coworkers actually write endorsements to be able to improve your positioning. If I'm a job seeker or hiring manager and I see this and I see you have recommendations, it's going to make me that much more apt to want to talk to you when you're contacting me. So come in here. Oh, here it is. Sorry, guys. This thing has moved around here. LinkedIn changed their UI recently. If you're logged into your profile, again, we're just looking at your homepage here. Whoops, bouncing around. Come on. So right here, there's a little more tab, and there's an add profile section. So from what I just showed you, if I want to add my about section, here's where I would go in and attach that. And that's going to populate right here, my about section. So some recommendations for this: you don't want it super blocky. You don't want paragraphs and paragraphs of information. People don't consume like that. But if you want to tell your story, your background, the value again that you bring to the table, use that summary section here to include that. We go further down here, featured section. I'm not going to touch on that right now. Background. And then this is where you want to complete. So if you're looking at your digital resume, or I'm sorry, you're looking at your resume that you would submit for a job application, make sure it's reflectant of your experience and you add those details in here to LinkedIn as well. So what was your title? You know, sales. And if I want to, you know, full-time, and then even the company. So if I look at Microsoft, right, I can attach Microsoft, and then that'll be linked to Microsoft's company page. So if you're working for a Denver company right now or a Colorado company, and you're job seeking, and the hiring manager may want to go learn more about that company after they find your LinkedIn profile, I would recommend you make sure that that's linked as you're adding new experience here. Description of what you do. You can add links, resources. If I were in marketing in a position, I would add assets, materials, collateral I've created into this section as well. And then you can just go in and fill that out accordingly. Again, guys, if you want to speak up or if you have any questions or anything like that, or I may have skipped over something, just give me a holler, ping it into the chat box, or speak up. So you can add your education here, licenses, certificates. If you're in trades, you know, engineering is a great example of that. You need a lot of certification for engineering, accomplishments, and so on. So all of that is I'm not going to go through each and every single one just for time purposes, but all of that is accessible right here when you're actually looking at your personal page, your personal profile. Now there is one thing I want to attach here. So notice the skills section, guys. Okay. I would fill this out and I would add in the skills that you're, number one, interested in for a job. So if it's like content marketing, for example, and I want to be in content marketing, I would add that skill to my profile. Reason being, if job seekers are searching, your profile is going to be what's called search optimized, search engine optimized. So if I'm searching and I'm looking for people in content marketing, your profile is going to show up. If you're, you know, doing the other things right and you're setting up these keywords. So if it's advertising, digital media, maybe it's engineering. Matt, what's a link? You know, Matt, you mentioned you're in the IT side. There, people use like languages for coding, for example. So I could be like, you know, Java,
JavaScript. C++,
Yep.
C#, Go. So yeah, C++, C#.
Programming. Yeah. So I would recommend, especially if you're like in a technical type role, that you tack those in here. Now, one other important piece I want to touch on as you're changing and updating your profile, guys, is this, let's see, this would be under additional information, is request a recommendation. Here's your task, okay, in leaving today, because social endorsement is the strongest thing, whether you're selling something or you're, you know, looking to connect with people, looking for a new career. Social endorsement is very important. I would go in here and first I would make sure you're connected with your professors and your existing employers on LinkedIn, and your colleagues. And I would go and ask those people to write you a short endorsement of their experience working with you, or their experience having you as a student, or their experience XYZ, whatever the relationship is. So it's very easy because you can just come in here, type in a name. Now you have to be connected with the person. So let me actually log out and go to my profile so it's more full scope here. And in the meantime, I'm going to check in on these. Okay, so couple here as we're rolling. Would it be appropriate to add, say, a project you work on during a class that showcase specific skills relevant to your industry? Absolutely. I would include links to it. I would include visuals, any visuals that you can, and I would include the skill sets that you've acquired or were seeking to acquire within that skills section on your profile. So I'd add the skill because I learned it, even though I'm not an expert in it. Yes, yeah, definitely. I would think of it more as from a search perspective, like what keywords do you want people to find you for? So if I want people to find me for digital marketing, maybe I'm not a total expert in digital marketing, but I want those keywords attached and relevant to my LinkedIn profile. So if you're not a C++ or a Java expert or a coding expert yet in a particular language, I would still recommend including those languages in there. Yeah, and it's discouraging to like fill this out without having experience in the job market. And before we wrap up here, Amy, I think we have to close here at on the nose. Is that right, at 12?
That's what we're scheduled to, yes.
Okay. So I'll make sure I get to that before, because that brings me to my next really important piece for all of you is experience. If you don't have the experience now in the COVID world is the best time in the world to go work for somebody as an intern for free, on a sales capacity, you name it. Which brings me to my next point here. So, logged into my profile now. And the one thing I was just getting at too here, guys, was asking for recommendations. So once you have your page set up, go type in your professors. Amy, I think I sent you a request. Let's see if it's in here. If you had connected back yet, maybe not.
Better look.
Maybe not. Okay. I'll just pick someone random. Frank. Frank's top of mind today. Frank was, managed me or was a professor or mentored me while I was doing this. And then I can ask him, hey, could you write me a quick recommendation, or would you like me to craft something for you and have you approve it? Okay, guys. So I would do that as a step from today. Start collecting the social endorsement. Anytime you serve a client, anytime you serve anybody, you're a professor, you name it, go get those recommendations collected here, because you can always point to them for anything, for any purposes that you'd use, that you need social proof moving forward. Here's the skills section. People can endorse that, but for time purposes, I'm going to jump here. Now, what do you want to be doing? Well, you want to, again, as part of building your personal brand, you need to start connecting with people on LinkedIn. So how do I do that if I'm totally new to this, right? Well, I'll pull Amy up. Or no, Amy, you're a pending. So let me just pull some other random person up here. In the search bar, I can search particular names. So if I want to search my professors, search my employers, search the people I'm not connected with yet, or I even want to go to MSU Denver, right? So I can search up the company page. So people who have in their profile MSU Denver, I can find all those people here. So there's
Could
Val's.
you show them the MSU Denver Education, their actual org page? And then you could show them alumni.
Education, School of Education, or
No, just MSU Denver. Sorry, not the actual School of Education.
oh yeah, yep.
MSU Denver's org page versus the. I think this might be there. No, if you look under alumni there, they move things around. Sorry, I'm like.
I know oh, here we are. Right
Yeah, sorry. I was like, you used to be across the top.
there.
Clearly not there anymore. There we go.
Yep. So you can even access, that was a great point, is access people who have graduated, network with them. That's a really great place to start. I'm glad you brought that up. Let's see. So this gives you data. There's actually a way to find people. Okay, that would actually be a different area, but it shows here there's 86,000 alumni. So if you go here, you can find team members at MSU, and you can find a lot of students add MSU into the profile. So a lot of these on here could even be students potentially, but you can come in here and search for your professors. I would recommend you get connected with them. I found a lot of your professors are actually pretty active on LinkedIn. So what do I do here? Now, how do I get connected with them? Little bit different than other social platforms. So Instagram, you do a follow. Facebook, you do a connection request, connect request. Twitter, follow. What's the other one? Anyways, other platforms are different. LinkedIn has a unique capability to actually send a note as to context on why you're connecting with someone. So let's take, John here as an example. I always follow my connections so they're notified and I see their content show up. But if you go to connect with someone, you notice there's two sections here. One says send, one says add a note. If I hit send, it's just going to send a, generic junk message. I wouldn't recommend connecting with people that way on LinkedIn. What I would do is add a note. Hey, John, Connor Doobie here. I'm a student at MSU Denver and looking to network with more professionals in the community. Saw you do a lot of philanthropy work and founded XYZ company, chat soon, something like that. So I would add context into your connection request, because when they accept that connection request, it actually populates in your inbox. And then you can use that message as follow-up. Hey, John, thanks for connecting back. I noticed you guys had mentioned you're hiring at Make Philanthropy Work, and or maybe you're looking for interns. Would you be interested in doing a quick call and I can share on what I think I could help support you with? I can provide for you. I don't go to people and ask them to pick their brain. Don't ask for, like the adage of like, hey, can I buy you coffee for people you're trying to connect with? Try to build a relationship and position it in a way that's valuable for them. Point out what value can you bring to people rather than trying to ask and take. Okay. Hey, can I take your brain that you've had for 30, 40 years in this industry and let me pick it? Nobody wants their brain picked. What they do want, if you're looking for experience, if you're looking for a new job, is they want to know how you identify with their company and what you can bring to the table. Hey, I'm a marketing expert. I just use marketing because that's my world, guys. You guys may all be in different areas. I'm a marketing expert. I notice you guys don't have your LinkedIn, profiles set up all the way. Well, I can help you set up all your LinkedIn profiles. Would you like to chat real quick? All of you can leave today and go do that for a company, and have a foot in the door to help somebody and provide value. And then what do you know? They end up hiring you. So there's a lot here. And just for time purposes, I want to get a feel for all of you guys on here still. I have eons amounts of free resources, information, on LinkedIn. If you connect with me on LinkedIn, I have tons of videos that talks about this. I do live streams weekly. So I have more than enough to get all the other technical questions answered in the bigger picture of LinkedIn. It's the world I live in. So feel free while I'm still here. Any questions, anything you guys want to chat through, maybe a roadblock, a problem, a challenge, before we have to wrap up. And I'll start with some questions here, just as I'm waiting for you guys to, if you want to unmute yourself or jump in here to the question, the Q&A box. It is, yeah, Matt, go ahead.
Quick question. What would you say is the best way to request kind of recommendations or recommendations from past connections, past people you've worked with, or even professors? What's the best way to reach out without making it seem like, oh, hey, I need you to give this to me?
It's a great question. I would say, well, first, make sure you're connected with them. So use a relationship. Hey, Amy, I was a student at MSU, and love to keep in touch here on LinkedIn, connect with them, your professors, your employee. Hey, man, it's been great working with you over the last couple of years. Thought we should keep in touch here. And then in terms of asking a recommendation, well, I would do it where it's relevant first off. So I wouldn't just go ask people for recommendations if there's no relevancy there. But if you did a group project and your professor was constantly commenting on, hey, you're really taking, great leadership here, then I would follow up and say, that's great. Could you, would you be interested in writing a quick LinkedIn recommendation for me? I'll send you a note there. And it prompts them to do it. So when you ask someone for a recommendation on LinkedIn, it populates right in their notification center and in their inbox. So they'll see Matt Bingham, sorry if I botched your last name.
You got it.
Is interested, is wondering if you could write a recommendation, and then you can even write it out for them and say, hey, would you be interested if I wrote it for you and then I'll publish it? Or could you write me a quick 2 or 3 sentences on what your experience was? So when I work with a client and I bring them a multi-million-dollar deal from their LinkedIn efforts, then the way I approach it is, hey man, it's been great working with you. Would you write a couple sentences on your experience is working with me? And what was the impact that it had for you? What was the impact on your business? Or what was the impact in your classroom by having me do X, Y, Z?
Okay, thank you.
And if you ping me too, I'm happy to write you a script and you can just use it. Okay, so so what should a student that hasn't gotten that much experience, what should we add in those sections? Fill as much as you can. But that's kind of a whole bigger picture point here, guys, is me and the hundreds of CEOs of monster successful companies that I've talked to would much rather hire on experience than just a good resume that, talks about getting XYZ degree. Okay. They're both important, but having experience, if you don't have experience, don't wait until you graduate to try to get the experience. Right now is the best time. If it's an hour a week, if it's 2 hours a week, go to LinkedIn, find the companies, your dream companies, right? Find the dream company you want to work with. If you don't know who it is, do some Googling, do some research, right? And then go find them on LinkedIn. Find the CEO, find the sales director, find the production manager, you name it. You can find them on LinkedIn and let them know that you're looking to gain experience. you can provide and support and bring XYZ value to them, most people are going to say yes. Sometimes I've done 90% of what I do is for free, right? I still work for free for clients, for mentors of mine, right? I get mentorship by doing free work with areas I can help my mentors in. And then for them, I get mentorship. So start getting the experience. Don't wait till you're out of college. Use LinkedIn as the tool to go find those people to get that experience. And sales too. I mean, if any of you are interested in sales, marketing, there's so many ways that you can find a company you're interested in and say, hey, could I do some digital prospecting for you? And then you pay me commissions on deals that I bring you. You could be making 2, 3, 4 times X what other, peers at college are making, just by simply partnering with people, providing them value, and, helping them grow their business.
Connor, I think you made the suggestion before too, is think about some of the classes that, you all are in right now. And if there's projects you could speak to, again, that impact and accomplishment, those essential skills right now, if you're early in your career planning, those are still valuable to employers. They want to see that you've worked on a project to completion. They want to see that you've worked with a team. They want to maybe see some of even the product. And again, this is those initial layers. As Connor was saying, you're going to continue to build and develop. If you need something in there, think about some of those types of projects too. It's okay to put those in there.
Yeah, definitely. Don't be discouraged on filling it just to fill it. Because you could also create content around what you're interested in. So if you're connecting with various people in different organizations that you're interested in working with, and then if you write an article or if you do some video, I mean, you can grab your cell phone and talk about a subject you learned about in a class relevant to the industry you're in, post it to LinkedIn, people see it. That kind of stuff is going to also speak volumes rather than just having your experience section filled in your profile. So don't let analysis paralysis keep you from taking those incremental steps to building experiences and to getting a career and, getting the sale or whatever it is you're trying to accomplish on LinkedIn.
Well, I think we're about at time. We're a little over. Again, the Classroom to Career Hub is available to support you. Everyone, let's give a virtual round of applause to Connor. I think there's an emoji out there somewhere that we can use.
Just snap behind the camera.
Our skill. I think it's here. Yeah. Okay. Looks like Sheila also put in the chat a follow-up survey. If you all can think about filling that out, that would be exceptionally helpful for everyone. And I don't know if there's other final comments, Sheila, that you need to make.
No, we just appreciate everyone being here. Thank you so much, Connor. This is a great presentation. We'd love to invite you back for a 2.0 at some point. Yes, please fill out the sign-in if you weren't able to do so at the beginning. Again, you'll be entered in for a prize or for a drawing for a prize or swag. So please fill that out. And then we also have a survey. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great day.
Well, thank you.
Thanks all. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.